What's up, everybody? Good late morning or early afternoon. It's time for another rooting guide, and we've only got a couple weeks left of this, and we are starting to get a very clear picture about what matters and what doesn't matter. But as always, I try to find the little angles that are not immediately obvious to what the Seahawks might desire in a game. And it's getting harder and harder to do that because we're near the end of the season, but you can usually finagle your way to some kind of interesting angle. So let's start with tonight's game, the Jets visiting the Browns. Now, the Browns are almost certainly going to make the playoffs no matter what at this point. They're in a very good position to lock that one up. So I'm not really worried about the Browns not making the playoffs even if they lose this game. So I actually think we want the Jets to win this game because if the Jets win a game, they go down in the draft order several slots behind New Orleans and Denver. So our third round pick will bump up a slot, regardless of who ends up giving us that third round pick at that point, because it would bump the Jets behind both teams, I believe. So, yeah, I think we want the Jets to win, and then we want the Broncos and Saints to keep losing. That would bump that pick up just a tiny little bit. I can't think of any other angle where this game matters. I guess strength of schedule, but at this point, strength of schedule is very unlikely to matter. It very unlikely matters for anything as it regards to playoff stuff. Like, we know we're going to be either the 6 or 7 or we don't get in, and I can't think of a scenario where strength of schedule is some kind of relevant tiebreaker. So, honestly, while you could argue we want the Browns to win for strength of schedule purposes, at this point, it's hard for me to believe that's going to matter. All right, so that's Thursday. We have one game on Saturday. We got the Lions and the Cowboys. I mean, we kind of want the Lions to have something to play for in the final week of the season, so they play hard against the Vikings and beat them. But it's possible they won't even view that as some kind of incentive. Maybe they'll just say, hey, we won the division. We're good. We're getting the 3 seed or the 2 seed. We're fine either way. Or maybe they say we're going to play hard no matter what because, we're coached by Dan Campbell. And that's the Dan Campbell way, to always try your hardest. So this one's tough. I think we want the Lions to win, so they're more likely to have something to fight for next week. I think that even if they do win, they're unlikely to have anything to fight for because San Fran and Philly both have basically free wins this week. But that's the only real thing I can think of. We played both these teams, so there's no strength of schedule argument you can make. So, yeah, I think we want the Lions to win, but that's about it. All right, now we jump forward to Sunday, December 31st, last day of the year. Let's take a look here. Patriots, Bills. I mean, at this point, the Patriots have already kind of screwed this up because they've bumped their pick down several slots by winning those couple of games. They're picking behind Arizona now, and if Arizona doesn't win a game, that's immutable. Now, Arizona could win one of their last two games, I guess, but we don't even want that because we played them in week 18, so we probably don't want to lose that game. So, I guess we want Buffalo to win. I guess, just so New England can pick as high as possible. But if they don't pick above Arizona, then that whole thing doesn't even really matter that much. And with 4 wins, they're probably already out of reach. But I guess we want Buffalo to win. And either way, I guess we want Buffalo to secure a wild card spot to keep Denver out of the playoffs for draft purposes. But Denver's not making the playoffs regardless. They got no shot. So it's not like that's something at the forefront of my mind. Falcons, Bears. Definitely want the Falcons to be finished off here. Definitely want the Falcons to have their death rattle. Um, just to eliminate one of these playoff contending stragglers here. So yeah, the Bears. I know they're technically still alive, but they're not gonna do. That's not happening. There's no way. So the Bears can go ahead and win this game, and I'm not gonna be sitting here thinking, "Oh my God, the Bears are making that playoff push." No, it's too late. So yeah, I'm going with the Bears, and I think they will take care of business at home and finish this off for us. Raiders, Colts. I think that we want the 7 seed to get blockaded in the AFC so Denver can't get in, even though Denver already kind of screwed themselves by losing to New England last week to secure it. to secure the bag to keep Denver out of the playoffs, I guess we want the Colts to win so we can kind of set up a blockade in the AFC South of teams that are going to finish with a better record than Denver. But I can't think of any other angle here. I guess there's also the possibility that the Raiders pick behind the Saints and Broncos if they win some of these games to end the season. But that's I mean, even that's kind of far fetched to even really care about that much. I'd rather have the Colts blockade the playoffs so Denver can't get in. So yeah, I think we want Indy to win. Rams Giants. This is a big one right here. And if the Giants, now starting Tyrod Taylor, want to do us a big solid, I sure would appreciate it. I would really, really love it if the Giants put the Rams in a position where they could lose out, miss the playoffs, and make life easy for the Seahawks. Relatively easy. So if the Giants want to do us a solid, hey. It was definitely more fun with Tommy DeVito, but whoever they start at quarterback, I definitely want them to win this week. So let's definitely get behind the boys in blue on Sunday and hope they can find a way to win that one. Cardinals, Eagles. I mean, obviously, we don't care about the Philly angle that much, but I guess we're rooting for Arizona. It's probably a waste of time, but we want Arizona's pick to not be as high as it currently is. It's actually, they're in range. I mean, it's unlikely to happen for them to get the number 1 pick, but they're sitting kind of pretty at that number 2 pick slot. So I definitely want them to find a way to win this game so we don't have to worry about handing them the game in Week 18. Of course, the perfect scenario would be Seattle to have things clinched going into Week 18 so they can rest starters against the Cardinals, but would we even do that? I don't know. And will things be clinched for us? That's tough. All right, here's another big one, very big one here. We got the Saints going to visit Tampa Bay, and Tampa Bay, wrap it up. Just wrap up the division, send the Saints into the shadow realm along with the Falcons, and take care of business and lock it up and let us know there's only going to be one team coming out of the NFC South. If the Saints win this game, everything becomes funky and less clear. Now, for the Seahawks, it's not terrible because they could still get in if they win out. But the Saints winning this game would muddy things up. We don't need it. So, Tampa Bay, do your thing, mess them up, and make life easier for us, please. Thank you. Big one right there. 49ers, Commanders. The only thing that really matters in this game, I think, is we want the Niners to have something to play for next week. So this game only becomes important, really, if Philly loses. If Philly loses, then we need the 49ers to lose. If the Eagles win and the 49ers are motivated to try hard next week against the Rams anyway, I still don't know if there's much of an interest here. I guess we want the Commanders' pick to go higher so they have a chance to overtake Arizona if they win one of their last two, but I don't know. There's not really much here, to be perfectly honest, right? Like, we're not catching the Niners. The Commanders can't catch us. I can't really think of a good angle here. So, yeah, I guess we just want the the Commanders to win because screw the 49ers, right? Panthers, Jaguars, very important the Panthers keep losing at this point because if they win one more game, the Cardinals become, at the very least, in play for the number 1 overall pick, which we are desperately trying to avoid. So we need Carolina to just keep taking those L's. That's actually becoming kind of pressing here. And they're playing an AFC team anyway, so we'd rather the win go to the AFC. Not that that element matters in a game like this, because Carolina's been long eliminated, but still. Dolphins, Ravens. I guess we played the Ravens, so strength of schedule says we want the Ravens to win. So I'm trying to think of any kind of angle where we might want the Dolphins to win, and I don't have much. And I already said earlier this video, strength of schedule doesn't mean that much. So this game might be pretty much of no consequence to the Seahawks whatsoever. I can't think of an angle outside of the strength of schedule stuff. So I think you can kind of root for whoever here. I guess if you want Tua to win the MVP, you need him to have a big game and win this one. If he goes into Baltimore and wins, there's going to be a real debate here, and it's I'm here for it for sure. Would be fun. but I can't think of much of an angle there. Titans Texans, we're going all the way with the Texans here for sure. We want the Texans to knock down their first round pick because they're sending it to Arizona. We want the Texans to make the playoffs to keep Denver out, or be in the playoff picture to keep Denver out just in case. And we want Houston in the playoffs anyway because it's fun, because CJ Stroud's fun and he deserves it and the Texans deserve it. So, yeah, big time Texans fans. Um, Chargers, Broncos. Yeah, at this point, the only thing that's really a factor here would be the fact that we might get Denver's third round pick. We want the Chargers to win. That's really the only thing. We're not going to jump the Chargers in the draft with that third round pick, so them winning the game doesn't do anything for us that way. But we just want that potential Denver third rounder to be boosted up a little bit. That's all I got. And then we have Bengals, Chiefs. We played the Bengals, so strength of schedule. I guess if the Bengals win, they would put themselves in play. Well, they already are. They're already ahead. Their pick is already behind Denver and New Orleans, so that's not that valuable right now. Yeah, this is another one of those games where it's like I don't think it matters. I guess we want Kansas City to secure the division so Denver doesn't threaten for it, but Denver's not threatening for it anyway. Like that's such a silly thing to even think about right now. So yeah, I guess Kansas City, but I can't really think of much here. And then we have the big one, the Sunday night game, Packers Vikings, and this one's debatable. It depends on your perspective. I think we want the Vikings to win because the Vikings have a tougher opponent next week when they play the Detroit Lions. Our goal is for both these teams to go 1-1. If both these teams go 1-1 to close out the season, they're not really a threat. We could lose a game and still get in over the Packers or Vikings if they both go 1-1. So we have the Packers Bears and then we have Vikings Lions. Lions are definitely better, but they might be resting starters. The Bears have actually been kind of hot lately, but the Packers always beat them. So that's actually a little bit difficult to figure out. Some people are going to have a different perspective, but the way I see it, we want the Vikings to win, and then we want to count on the Lions to finish them off next week. And then if the Packers lose, they can do whatever they want to do against the Bears. It doesn't really matter. They can win that game and maybe officially knock the Bears out. It's possible that the Bears would still be alive at that point, I guess. So that's kind of the ideal scenario. But as long as both these teams go 1-1 or worse, or maybe one of them goes 1-1, the other goes 0-2, we're in good shape. Okay, so that's it for the rooting guide. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you think there's something I didn't catch. But some of these games really don't matter at all to us. Some of them matter barely at all. There are a few games here, though, that really, really matter. All right. Catch you guys later. Go Hawks. More stuff coming later. And streaming tonight with the Hawks Nest. Catch y'all there, hopefully.